So today we are getting rid of some things from my collection. And I feel like this is a little bit of a theme for my life recently because I just feel like there's too much things lingering on the periphery. If you guys saw my skincare declutter, I got rid of a ton of stuff in there. Check that out if you like decluttering type of things. But this isn't like one of my typical declutters where I go through like everything and show you everything and blah, 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 blah. I just went through and I was like, okay, there are some things in my collection that I'm just not touching, I'm not using, or I just don't like them. So that's where we're going with this today. I have a whole little tray of all of the stuff that I'm getting rid of. And for some of these things, I will tell you other stuff in my collection that I not necessarily think are dupes. Some of them are close, but that are things that I just enjoy using more or that I feel like do a better job. So for those, I will show you what I have, and I will link the things that I recommend down below. Whew, I'm going to try to go in order. I think I kind of have it laid out this way. So we're going to start with primers. I have a few that I'm getting rid of. One is the Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. Bought this for a video that I never did. I talked about that in my last declutter, but this is finally going. I just don't like it. It doesn't sit well on my skin. It doesn't really illuminate. It's weird. So, don't like it. Can we stop? The e.l.f. Luminous Matte Primer. I don't feel like there was anything luminous about this. And I mean, it looked matte on the skin, but it didn't necessarily make my skin matte throughout the day. So it was just kind of like weird. Just a weird product. And the most recent primer that I have bought that honestly I wasn't even interested in it, and like I could not find it anywhere anyway, aside from having to like buy it online, which I really didn't want to have to do. And then I saw it at Walmart a few weeks ago and I was like, oh, let me get that. I should have known better. I really should have, but everyone hypes it up. It is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I didn't like it. I did not like it, guys. I gave it a pretty good go of it. That looks like a little musical note. But this was not a musical, magical experience on my skin. I just feel like it did absolutely nothing for me. Everyone raves about it, but I saw zero improvement in the visibility of my pores. I don't feel like my makeup laid very well on top of it. It was just weird. I tried it with liquids and powders, my favorite foundations, and it just... I don't know what the hype is all about, but I don't like it. Now, the primer that I do love and use is actually not a primer. You guys know, if you have been around for a while, that I love the Too Faced Hangover RX primer, and that's what I used for a long time. But I have not used that in a few months now, and I've been using a moisturizer as a primer. And I want to say that I got this tip from Tiffany D. I can't remember though. I think I did. So kudos to her for turning me on to this. But it is the Clinique Moisture Surge 72-hour auto replenishing hydrator. I bought this as a skincare item, and honestly, it is a great moisturizer. But I started putting this on as my primer, just like a really good dose of it, and then let it sit in for about like 10 minutes and then go in with everything. Ooh, you guys. My makeup looks so much better with this as opposed to basically any other primer that I've used. It makes, because you guys know I love powder foundation, it makes the powder foundation look more skin-like. And then whenever you go over it with a setting spray to kind of like, you know, meld it together with your skin, it just looks so good. It makes my foundation wear well throughout the day. So even though I have oily skin, I just really am not liking the way that a matte foundation looks on me. So I feel like adding this to my skin to give me some nice hydration. And then it does kind of sit down. It doesn't feel greasy or anything. Just works out great. I love it. Next up, I have 3 setting powders that are all like translucent, I think. And that I use mostly for like under eyes. And getting rid of all 3 of them because I just have a better one. So first up is the Pretty Vulgar. Nothing particularly wrong with it. It worked okay, but again, I just have a better one. Then I have the Laura Mercier Translucent, just the original powder. Again, it's all right, but I have a better one, if I could finish my sentences. And then next up is the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh. Wow. This stuff made my skin look bad. Crepe City. I didn't know I had that much crepiness going on until I tried that. It was bad. But anyway, the one that I do prefer is actually not a loose powder. It is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Translucent. And if you can see, like, I have a nice little divot going in it because I have just used it and loved it so much. Nothing makes my under eyes look smoother than this does. It's just perfect. Next up, I have a powder foundation that was, wow, a big dud. So my favorite powder foundation has been discontinued, and I have been kind of over the past year or so trying other ones just to see, like, is there something that I can use after I'm done with my last compact of it? And so far, not so much. I do have the JCat Aquasurance. It's sitting at the post office right now. I just haven't went to pick it up yet. So I am going to try that one next. But for this one, I wanted to use a foundation that I used way back in the day, like back in like college, that I loved before. And I was like, let me just try that one again. I don't know if they changed it or if I changed, but it is so bad now. It is the L'Oreal True Match Mineral. Oh, wow. First off, like, True Match my tush. They had like it in C1 to 2, which is what I got because it looked closest to my skin tone. And then they had like C4. And I'm like, well, I really need like a 2.5, to make it like my exact match. And they just did not have that. And the 4 or 3/4, whatever it was just way too dark. I got this home and it looked like ghost white on me. I don't know what's up because it's definitely not that light in the container here. And wow, did it emphasize everything. And it was super sheer. It was cakey at the same time. Like, it was, you could see my skin through it, but you could also see it like bunching up and no good. No good. So this one is my favorite one that has been discontinued. It is the Tarte Confidence Creamy Powder Foundation. This is my last compact of it, and I had some pan going on. The one that I use currently, here and there, just to not use my other one as much, is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro. I have mine in cool beige compared to the light beige of the Tarte one. This one works pretty good. It's not as good. It doesn't make my skin look quite as like smooth and nice as the other one does, but it's the best of the ones that I've tried so far. So I would recommend that one. Next up, I have a highlighter that is going. I think I've held on to this for too long. I think I might have even started to get rid of it or like decluttered it and then was like, oh no, let me keep it. I can't remember, but it's the MAC Strobe Cream. And this is like the pinky colored one. I don't know if that particular kind has a name, but it's a little bit pinkier. This is pretty much the only liquid highlight that I have because I just don't use them enough. But I do have other pinkish highlighters that I am just love. Love, love, love. First off, Dandelion Twinkle. It is so pretty on. I do love a more subtle highlight or more like natural looking highlight. Nothing too like crazy. I just want it to be a glow instead of a stripe of white. So this one is super pretty. It's kind of like a little champagne pink. Gorgeous. Probably maybe my favorite one, I think, is the Too Faced Fancy Pink Diamond. This is stunning. stunning, and it just looks like a lit from within glow. I love it. And a new favorite one is the Laura Mercier Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in Peach Glow. I got this in my last BoxyCharm, the one that I ended up canceling after. But I was excited to get this because it is a little bit more of like a pinkish peach, and it is what I'm wearing today. Like I said, it's subtle, but that's just what I like. I just love the look of that. And this is really, really nice. I did have the Gilded Honey way back in the day whenever these first came out. And that one was, oh, too much for my skin. It was so intense. Everybody loved it. I hated it. And it also made me break out. And this one has not done that. So don't know what's up with that. But I recommend it. Next up is a blush that I'm getting rid of. I kept this and I haven't been using it. It is the L'Oreal Paradise Enchanted in Fantastical. It is kind of the more like goldy peach one. It has like a little suntan from being in the sun and having that label over the top of it. So I don't have a blush that is truly 100% exactly like this. However, I will show you a couple that are similar. So here is that one right there. Just a little peachy kind of gold blush. Get that off of there. So here's one that I use all the freaking time. Milani Luminoso is stunning. So here is it next to this. It's in the same color family. This one, the Luminoso, is definitely a little bit more pinky peach, whereas this one is more of like a goldy peach. That Paradise one is goldy peach. This one is pinky peach. But for all intents and purposes, it's quite the same on the cheeks. And then I have the Ulta Beauty Peach Pop palette. I love these little 6-pan blush palettes from Ulta, but there's a couple shades in here that could be similar to it. So I'll go ahead and swatch those once I get my hand dried off. So I would say the most similar to that blush in here is Apricot and Tuscan Sun. Neither one of them are exact, but they're similar. They're in the same family. So there is that one that I'm getting rid of. Here is the two from the Ulta palette. Again, none of these are exact dupes, but they're similar. They're in the same family. If you already have one of these two blushes, then you don't need that L'Oreal one. Or if you like the L'Oreal, but you're looking for something similar, there you go. Next up is a gloss that I'm getting rid of. It is the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade in, wow, peach tea. This is an okay gloss, the formula and stuff, but what I don't like is that it's just like a plain gloss. There's almost no pigment to it, and there's no sparkle or anything, which kind of sucks. It's like I want something in my gloss, and there's just nothing in there. So the one that I would recommend over that does have sparkle, and it is the Milani Keep It Full in Luminoso. So there is that one. Kind of similar tones, but honestly, the Milani has a lot more pigment in it, and it has little fine micro sparkle in it that just makes it a lot prettier to me. And then last up, I have some palettes that are going. I don't have other palettes to show you like, oh, I'm keeping this instead, because none of these palettes do I have true dupes for. And honestly, there's a lot of them where it's like I don't have one single palette that has all similar shades in it, but I do have multiple palettes that would comprise similar shades as these. And these are just ones that I have not reached for in a while, so might as well get rid of them. First up is the Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. I really liked this palette. It's all matte. It's all like kind of mauve toned, but I just don't find myself reaching for it. Next up is the Magnifies Spice Edition from Rimmel. I got this for that video that I never filmed. Don't talk to me about it. It's a cute palette. It's fairly pigmented, but I just don't find myself reaching for it. Honestly, like I look at palettes like this and I'm just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with that? Like, I just don't feel inspired, so it's going to go. Next up is the Tarte Dream Big palette. This is what it looks like. Again, a really cute palette. I love the colors in it, but what made my mind up is that there's only 2 matte shades in here. And it just started feeling like I looked at it and was like, what am I going to do with this? You know, because I kept constantly having to bring in another palette to finish it off. So it's going. And then we have the Tarte Sex Kitten palette. Kept this for a long time, liked it for a long time. I love cool tones, but it honestly started to feel a little bit boring. Like there wasn't a whole lot that I could do with it. It's a very basic palette, so it's going to go. And then I have 2 more, 2 of my Smashbox Cover Shot palettes that I love, that I have several of, but I haven't been using these. So first up is the Ebates palette, which I feel like was everyone's favorite whenever it came out. Looks like this. It's cute and all, but like, I just don't reach for it at all, really. So it's gonna go. And then next up is the Neutrals palette, which is, oh, it's just very neutral. And I have so many other palettes that I could get this exact look with, that I enjoy more and that I use more. So that's what's going. All of those things. And then the things that I enjoy using a little bit more than these things. So there you go for this little declutter-ish kind of thing. I feel good about getting rid of some of this stuff. I recently redid like how I store my makeup. It's nothing special, so I didn't want to do a video on it, but I just feel like I can see more of what I have now. I can look at my palettes and be like, okay, I really want to use this one. It's just a lot better. Everything is centralized. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But there you go. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!